Pastors, entrepreneurs, ministry leaders, I got a question for you. Have you ever found it really challenging to nurture the target audience that you're trying to connect to on social media? Well, today in this video, I'm going to give you 3 ways on how to do that, particularly on Facebook. What's going on, everybody? My name is Glenn P. Brooks Jr. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, and I'm a coach. And I want to talk just really quickly to my pastors, particularly of small churches, ministry leaders. I'm really kind of targeting in or leaning in on that person that may be responsible for some of the marketing, whether it's in-house or outbound marketing for the local church. I'm talking to my counselors or maybe my social workers who you have a coaching business or some kind of counseling business that's client-based, and you're trying to figure out how to nurture that particular target audience or that target client rather on social media, particularly on Facebook. One of the things that I've learned over the last almost 5 years now since we've come into this full-time entrepreneur space, and that is it pays for you to really lean in and figure out ways to nurture a community. Now, entrepreneurs, listen to me really carefully. I know that you probably are pretty amazing at what you do. I'm sure that your products and your services are absolutely phenomenal. Here's the challenge though. You will find yourself not really being able to get a ton of traction until you really have a tribe. Now, what I want to also caution you, even my pastors and my ministry leaders, listen guys, a tribe is something of a group of people that find you. You don't really find your tribe. And so when you show up as the leader of a thing or the proponent of a particular position and you're pushing that agenda, if you will, those people who connect to that message will gravitate toward you and literally find you and kind of tap you or identify you as their leader. When that happens, what it does is it puts you in a unique position to have people who are really willing to listen to your point of view or your perspective because there's some shared values there. What makes that even more powerful when you take it to the next level on social media and particularly on Facebook, because of the way Facebook really kind of favors the community groups that it allows you to set up, is that it gives you a unique opportunity to nurture that tribe or to add value to that community on a consistent basis. And I'm going to give you 3 quick ways on how to do that effectively when it comes to nurturing your community on Facebook. So number 1, I want you to go out and literally on YouTube or Google how to set up a Facebook group. Just Google that. It's super simple. It's super easy. And I want you to find a video of some kind. I've not put one together yet. So do yourself a quick favor. This will help you. Just go out and just ask that question of Google, right? Once you do that, it's going to give you a whole litany of people who've done that well. Just find yourself a good clip on how to systematically just set up a good Facebook group. Once you do that, here's what I do want you to give some thought to though. The question really becomes, who are you and what do you do? So when you set up a Facebook group, you need to remember that if you set up a Facebook group that really does not revolve around who you are and what you do authentically, what will happen is that you'll find yourself not being able to really nurture that community properly, because now it's going to cause you to take time to research stuff. It's going to cause you to have to really bone up on a particular issue. So I need that Facebook group to mimic who you are, what you do, why you do it, and more importantly, who you do it for. We talk a lot about that on some of my other videos, but I have found that has to be the case when you first start out. Number 2, I want you, after you've made that and you've set the group up and that sort of stuff, number 2, I want you to make your rules and expectations crystal clear. Why is that important? I remember when I set up our closed Facebook group for the MAPS Relationship Academy long before there was a MAPS Relationship Academy. Because at that particular point, I really wanted to help people who wanted to intentionally grow their relationships in a very healthy way. I hadn't narrowed it down to people who are married or people who were parenting yet at that point. So when I did that, it allowed me to kind of at least wrap my mind around the kind of community that I wanted to nurture. But most importantly, it helped me to set the rules and what that looked like. I knew that I didn't want a room where people were allowed to buy and sell goods. This was not a promotional based group. There are groups out there that are like that are purely set up to promote within. I get that. That wasn't this group. This wasn't a group that not even I would take the liberty of, quote, selling stuff. I wanted a group that would provide an incredible amount of value to people who literally had one thing in mind, and that was, I want to know how to grow my marriage in a healthy way. I want to know how to grow my parenting skill set in a healthy way. And at the time, although I talked about marriages and parenting and healthy relationships across the wide array of subject matter, I wasn't really drilling down onto a specific message yet. Well, we grew that group to almost 500 people of people that just wanted to grow healthy relationships. And then it got to the place where I got the revelation from my coach that literally said, bruh, listen, what you really need to do is get even more niched and more focused. What would it look like to take that group down to a very specific niche? So not just healthy relationships across the board. I'm not necessarily talking about your business relationships in that group. I'm not necessarily talking about your sibling relationships in that group. I'm really talking about your relationships relative to your marriages and your parenting. Those are the two primary areas within it. That's why we now call it MAPS, marriages and parenting successfully, relationships. And that's what we targeted on. Well, when you do that, it helps you to be able to create rules and sort of guidelines as to how the community will perform. Let me tell you a secret. Most people do not like creating Facebook groups because a lot of times, if you're not careful, people will treat the Facebook group like the Wild Wild West. Spam becomes a problem. People being mean or saying horrible things, or maybe they got their own agenda. Well, when you set up your rules on the front end, it keeps all of that kind of minutia, if you will, to a minimum, because at that particular point now, it really is focused on that. And you can refer, look at the group's rules, the guidelines, and please follow them, or quite frankly, we will put you out of our group. That is your prerogative as the group owner. Does that make sense? The third thing I want you to do, and this is probably the most important thing, particularly when it comes to nurturing that community, is I need you to prioritize your discussions on a daily basis. When I say prioritize your discussions, this is a mistake that I made earlier on. I did not engage my community enough in order for them to feel free to engage the community. Now, most people don't understand that, first of all, in order for Facebook's algorithm to perform on your behalf, there needs to be engagement on your timeline. So when you start doing things like showing up daily or consistently, weekly, something that is of the utmost consistency, it creates that engagement level to go to a whole nother stratosphere. And now the algorithm almost takes over and does your work for you. So that's one of the reasons why I will do lives in that closed Facebook group. And quite frankly, one of the things that we do often is that we have a closed private subscription-based group called the MAPS Relationship Academy. That's a paid for subscription service where we bring those people into a live Zoom room experience throughout the course of the week. And it's in that room that we really get into people's personal stuff and help them specifically. Well, all of those people, by being a part of our Relationship Academy, they are in the closed Facebook group. Well, now when you get over 100 people who are in a paid subscription talking about what took place in the coaching call last night or how that helped them, and they're engaging in the larger community, the over 800 people that see the engagement from those people now feel like, I want to come out of the bleachers and I want to get onto the playing field and I want to engage this content a little bit more. So it's when those kinds of things kind of come together that they really prove to be super valuable for your community. Guys, we help entrepreneurs sort of grow their businesses and their thinking in this way on a consistent basis, and what we call the MAPS Masterclass. If there's anything you'd like to know more about that, just click some of the links below. It will give you an opportunity to be able to connect with us, because at the end of the day, here's what I know to be true. You cannot get to any place of significance by yourself. We all need some help. For those of you guys who are not subscribed to the channel, please do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and make sure that you get the notifications for the next video. And I hope you have a great day.